Hey guys, it is September. I know it's early, but Halloween is like better than Christmas for me. Like, I love Star Wars, but I think I like Halloween a little bit better. And Halloween in our family was always the time to play tricks and pranks on each other. And I had an older sister that, when I was younger, when we got along, we used to we used to prank each other quite a bit. And today I'm going to talk to you about some of those best pranks. Maybe you can use them, maybe not. I don't know. But it just, we do always do this around Halloween season. I used to drive my kids nuts, drive my wife nuts. And it all started with my sister. And of course, we used to prank my dad all the time when we were little too. But anyway, I'm just going to get right into it. It's just going to be me talking. And if you find it funny, then maybe you can use some of these with your friends. But these are the best pranks I've ever pulled in my entire life. Younger, way younger. They used to have the greeting cards. You'd open them up and they'd play music. Dee, 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 dee. You'd take that little mechanism out of there. And it was only about the size of a quarter with a little tiny battery and a little circuit board attached to it. Take it out, pull the little plastic out, drop it in somebody's hoodie. They're walking around school, whatever, wherever, work, school, doesn't matter. Walmart, could be someone you don't even know. They're not going to feel it's there. And it's going off in this high-pitched, metallic song thing, playing a Christmas song or whatever come up. They won't know it's coming from them. They'll be looking all around. They hear it. They're looking all over the place. People hear it. They're looking all over the place. Meanwhile, they're walking around the whole store playing Jingle Bells. Harmless. Most of these pranks are harmless. I don't like doing damage. The next one. Oh, it's not really a prank. It's something I got somebody with at a bar a while back. I went to. That was a bar I used to go to all the time, and I knew the bartender. Her name was Missy, by the way. And this guy came in and sat down. We got to talking and everything. He couldn't remember the bartender's name. He's like, "What's the bartender's name?" I said, "Ayu." He's like, "What?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "She's Asian or something. Their name is Ayu." He's like, so for like an hour, he's like, "Ayu, Ayu, Ayu," to the bartender. Finally, she walks over and she's like, "My name is Missy." Little stupid thing. Like I said, no damage, no nothing. Oh yeah, when I was a little kid, I actually got this done to me when I was a little kid. One of the pranks my sister played on me. It was really hot outside and I was cutting grass. And she comes out with I asked her to get me some ice water, which I shouldn't have asked her to do anything because this is the kind of person she was. She come out with a glass full of ice. Oh, cool. Yeah, I take a big swig of it. It was white vinegar. Yeah, that was one of the grosser ones. One of the grosser ones. Big glass of ice water. I thought it was ice water and white vinegar. I did this to my first wife. No wonder I'm divorced. You take the deodorant, the squeeze up regular deodorant. There's a dial on the bottom and push this next thing. Take all the deodorant out, fill it up with cream cheese. Just take a knife, stick the cream cheese in there, pack it down real good, shape the top of it, put the cap back on, put it back up on the shelf. Yeah. Got my sister with that too, come to think of it, long time ago. Kool-Aid in the shower head. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It depends on what kind of shower head you have. If you have one of the old school shower heads, like from way back in the day, it works great. I don't know if it would work in the newer ones or not. Because the thing is they turn on the water that comes through, it melts the Kool-Aid and it comes out red. Speaking of red and taking showers and stuff like that, there's a thing you can buy on the internet. It's actually a bath mat. And it just looks like a normal, ordinary bath mat, same size. It's white. And you sit it down. As soon as any water hits it, it turns blood red wherever that water hits it. So if your foot's wet and you step on it, big old bloody footprint on there. I got my daughter with that one. She stepped on it. She started freaking out. She thought she was bleeding and couldn't figure out what was going on. Also, speaking of my daughter, this is a really dumb one. But one night she come home drunk and she was older. She wasn't like 10 or anything. She was of legal age. Don't look at me like that. And she come home, she crashes in her bed and I knew she was drunk. So I waited about an hour until she's asleep. I turned all the light, made sure all the lights were off, opened up the door and I jumped in her bedroom and I screamed as loud as I could. I mean, it was one of those horrific, I've got a really big mouth. And believe me, when I raise my voice, everybody knows it. And I just went, ah! I'm not going to scream like I normally do. It'll blow out your ears. She jumps up. I jump out of the room. I jump back in bed. And I hear her like sniffling. And I get up. I'm like, what's wrong, honey? What's wrong? And she's just sitting there. I don't know. I just woke up really scared. And she figured it out, was mad at me for a week. It was funny. Those little snap and pop thingies that you can buy around 4th of July. Sometimes you could find them at like Spencer's or whatnot, or a fireworks place. The little things we had when we was kids, you throw them on the ground and they go psh, psh, psh. Take like 20 of them, put them all underneath the toilet seat, So when someone comes in, they sit down on it. That scared the shit out of them, literally. Oh, my sister, I got one night when she came home drunk as hell. And I was only, I was probably 11 years old. It's one of the first good ones I got her with. I took her door, you know, doors open like this. Well, I opened it about 2 inches and I put like as many rolls of toilet paper right on the edge. So when she pushed the door open, they all fell down, hit her in the head. And being the fact that she was drunk, made all kind of noise. My dad caught her and she got in all kind of trouble. We used to get each other in trouble. She got me a bunch of times too. But that was probably one of the better ones I got her with because my dad, he didn't take, he's no nonsense. He didn't take that kind of crap. So she got grounded, of course. Oh, I had a friend back in my 20s. I had a friend. His name was Ralph. I'm still friends with him to this day. And we used to prank ech other all the time. But the best thing I ever did with him, he liked old cars. He's a mechanic. So he always had old Ford trucks and stuff. He loved his Ford trucks. We had this one Ford Bronco that he used to drive around. And the radio was messed up. It had a old cassette deck in it, and he'd never put cassettes in it because they would get stuck and just keep playing, and he couldn't get them out. So I had a little, back in the day, if you bought something, they'd give you an instruction manual, you get a little cassette tape with it that would explain to you how to do things with it. I don't remember exactly what the product was, but I took that tape and I recorded over it the theme from The Facts of Life over and over and over again. Now the reason I said it's a little demo tape, it was only about maybe 10 minutes long, so I could do like 2 or 3 times on one side and flip it over and record 2 or 3 times on the other side. And those cassette decks back then would automatically flip over and just keep playing. So his would play one way, then it would play side B and just keep going. All the buttons on his radio were ruined. None of them worked. It was just old. So when I put it in, the only thing that did work was his on and off switch. Wow, I just happened to break that off. And up full blast. So he gets in his truck after we're out drinking one night. He starts it up and you're la 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 la. He had to drive the whole way home until he could get a thing to get the tape out. And he forgot to do it because he was drunk too. And the next day he drove to work like that. So I don't think you can do that in today's cars, but if you got someone that has an older car and you just want to be evil, there you go. Getting down to the end of them though. Like I said, these are my favorite pranks, not the only pranks I've ever played. I've actually faked a murder for somebody and asked them to help me come hide the body. That's a whole other video. And actually, I still talk to the guy, so maybe I'll have him on here and we'll talk about it together. But not for right now. I used to work with this girl who was actually my sister's best friend growing up, and her name was Noreen. Hello, Noreen. I know you watch these sometimes. We worked in an office together. It was an optician shop, and she was a receptionist. Now, we had, back then, I think it was Windows 98 in the computer. So anytime you use Word or anything, the way the autocorrect would work is if you had put in a weird word, like her name, for instance, is kind of an odd name, Noreen. I mean, the 2 Noreens in my entire life. So she would put in, I would type in Noreen, Noreen, and then I would highlight it, right click on it, and choose autocorrect. And then you could make it any word you wanted to. In this case, I made it say asshead. So every time she typed her name at the end of a communication, it would automatically change to asshead. And of course, she sent out a couple communications like that before she realized what was going on. And it was funny. She just said to Helen, just start putting N in her last name, which I won't say on here. Last one. It's always just fun. It's one I did to my sister. You know what I feel like right now? I feel like Chunk in the Goonies movie, where he's like, the worst thing I ever did, but the worst thing I ever did was the fake vomit. That's kind of what I feel like right now. But anyway, I'm just passing these on to you because in case I die, I don't want these jokes going or these pranks going unnoticed. This isn't even the worst thing I ever did. I attached some fishing line to my sister's closet and I looped it up over the light and I had a spider on it. So whenever she'd open up the closet door, the spider would come right down behind her. She was terrified of insects. She jumped out of her skin that day. But that's the only ones I have written down for now. I just want to make a quick video because Halloween's coming. I'm getting in the mood and I'm starting to think. And so I have a rule. If I'm not messing with you, it means I don't like you or I don't know you. So keep that in mind. We'll see what else I end up doing for this Halloween season. And thanks for watching. Catch you later.